A Langford man has been identified as the motorcyclist who was killed over the weekend on the Malahat. 54-year-old Colin Grant was riding his motorbike when a car crossed the center line and hit him head-on. This tragedy is just the latest on a long, sad list. Accidents this year alone have caused that infamous highway to close many times, stranding thousands of motorists. These are crashes that many say are entirely preventable. CTV's Andrew Johnson joins us live with more on the story. Andrew.
Hudson, Colin Grant likely had no chance to get out of the way of the car that swerved into oncoming traffic. But if there had been a barrier separating the lanes, safety experts believe he'd be alive today. It was about 3:30 on Saturday when a driver heading north on the Malahat swerved across the road into oncoming traffic and into 54-year-old Colin Grant of Langford. He was on a motorcycle and died at the scene. The riding community on the South Island has seen enough.
Very upset that we've had another fatality on the Malahat. I understand this is about our fourth fatality in the last year. There was two at the top of the Malahat, one recently by Spencer Road, and this one.
2011 has been a memorable year on the notorious stretch of the Trans-Canada Highway for all the wrong reasons. In April, a tanker crash and fuel spill closed the artery that serves up to 36,000 cars per day for 22 hours. In September, a car swerved into the oncoming lane, was struck by another vehicle, then slammed into a rock face. Earlier this month, the day after an RV flipped and backed up traffic, another head-on crash near the Malahat Mountain Inn. It happened during the morning commute. Hundreds of drivers were stranded for 2 hours. Concrete barriers like these were installed on the Malahat years ago, just north of Goldstream Park, around the so-called suicide corner, after a string of fatal head-on crashes caused by drivers crossing the center line. Now, first responders who have seen the loss of life on the highway firsthand are calling for the barriers to be extended.
If we had more of a divided highway, if there was more of the concrete no posts put up down the center of the highway, it would most definitely save lives and keep the injuries rate way down.
Bill Laughlin is a safe driving instructor and former Victoria police officer. He can't understand why drivers on every twist and turn of the Malahat aren't protected.
If you drive out to Sydney, they're all the way out the Pat Bay Highway. You've got nice straight stretches of road. We know that the Malahat has issues, and I believe that if we had a median there, it would have prevented this accident.
The transportation minister says his staff are looking at what can be done to improve safety on the winding highway, but stops short of promising fresh concrete.
If there are ways that we can look at improving safety, we're always open to that. But the reality is, I can't tell you today that I can put a median down the middle of every highway in this province.
Until there's one here, some believe lives that could be saved will be lost. Hudson police enforcement on the Malahat has proven very effective. The Integrated Road Safety Unit made its presence felt on the highway between July and September, which reduced crashes, and there were no fatalities during that time. Police are preparing a report that is expected to be released by Friday with recommendations on the best way to go forward and make this very busy, very essential stretch of highway safer.
All right, Andrew Johnson, thank you.
You're welcome.